We're with Geoff Wightman at the 4J Awards, annual awards. Jake was the 4J Athlete of the Year, and you and Susan received it. What a moment for you.
Yeah, he's been coming along to these awards and been nominated since 2013. And he's never won outright. I think he had a share with Nick Percy of the Junior Award one year in 2013. And then in 2020 he shared with Laura and Gemma. So yeah, it's a big moment for him. First British Championship on the track, first Scottish Athletics outright award. So very nice. Thank you 4J.
And did you think that it might be a tie?
I did. I thought that might be the way it went because, yeah, World Championship, we don't get loads of those, but we also don't get many Commonwealth champions on home soil. So, and Laura picking up a couple of medals and 2 golds in particular was the other one in the hat. So yeah, it's nice. At the end of the day, you get merit rankings, you get awards. The only result that counts is the one in the summer, but these are very nice to receive.
You also won the Performance Coach of the Year award. Tell me just briefly, if you can, the challenge of coaching this year above all, when you've had 3 championships to try and peak for.
Well, I think we were lucky. I think he had a low point in February where he had COVID and he dropped out of the Muller Indoor Grand Prix. And at that point, and it took him a little while to recover from that, a couple of weeks. And then he had a training camp in Flagstaff in May that went perfectly. And his racing kicked in off the back of that. And it suddenly started to look like he was in the form of his life in training. But you have to convert that to races and also to spread those 6 weeks of peak across the moments that matter. And I think by switching to 800 at the Europeans, he pretty much did sustain a peak for the right amount of time.
I'm intrigued that you mentioned that DNF, because I was looking at Power of 10 the other day and trying to add up the number of top 3 finishes that Jake has had in 2022, and I think, to use a good Scottish expression, you've raced very cannily.
Yes.
There's a couple of 4th places in there, but they're possibly in heats that were taking you into the next round of the semi-finals.
Yeah.
But you're top 3, I think, in 15 out of 18 races. A phenomenal record.
Yeah, if you look at his Power of 10, his consistency this year has been very good. I think that helped him get selected at 800 metres for the Europeans, that his head-to-head record and his early season form was pretty good. But yeah, I mean, you can go back to last year and have a 12th place in the Scottish 4K, but since then, yeah, a couple of 4ths. I think one of those was the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix behind Andrew Butchart at 3,000. Otherwise, he's been top 3 in pretty much everything he's done, and that's new for him to be that consistent across the season. Just
very briefly then, in your role tonight as guest of honour and coming back to Scottish Athletics after a number of years, you were involved here previously. What did it feel like to see people like Liz Wilder and Sandra Hardraker and John Roger get honorary life memberships? I imagine seeing that was quite enjoyable for you.
Yes, I managed to have a word with John before he went up to get his award, and of course folk like him have absolutely driven the sport through good times and bad to the level it's at the moment. We are a sport that requires a lot of volunteers, a lot of officials. You can play a Premier League football game with 5 officials. You can't even put on a basic athletics meeting without about 20. So we need folk that drive the sport forward. The volunteer sector has always been the engine of that. The clubs have always been the powerhouse of what Scotland has done. I think it was a genius idea probably of Mark Munro's to create club development officers that's taken it to another level. But these are good times for Scottish athletics, and folks like your honorary life members and everybody else in that room have played their part in that, and just needs to keep going.